Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Island Tea right here with Media SKN with Kevon and Azem featuring Jade, Gwen Johnson. Yeah, I'm alone. Me one in here this morning. Everybody else abandoned me. Jade just having way too much fun in her CPL bubble, and the Duke is off doing his Duking duties as usual. So it's gonna be just me with you guys today. Looking forward to a good show though. There's a lot of stuff happening for us to talk about, and I'm looking forward to the calls as well. So I have somebody to talk to. I'm more of a conversationalist, not necessarily somebody who just gets up and just bang him out for 2 hours, but but definitely gonna be a cool experience this morning with you guys. Kevon says to tell everyone hi, and Jade didn't send a message, so I won't be delivering any. But we have a few minutes before our friends from the Solid Waste Management Department gets here, and we're gonna just talk a bit about what's going on. Yesterday we mentioned that there wasn't before I get in trouble, I have to sing the song and let everybody know that it's tea time. So, yesterday we were talking about the fact that there had not been a situation report out at the time of our, filming the show, and I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting that people, really look out for the situation report. And everybody's eyes, of course, goes to that first number, which is the COVID cases over the last 24 hours. People seem to really want to know what that number is, and really try to have a handle on the situation. I get an idea for what's happening. People are very fearful. I was talking to somebody up to last night about the fact that the cases are going up. This is someone who is with child, and has been doing her due diligence in terms of finding out, hey, COVID and expectant mothers, how does that really play out? And the prognosis isn't anything lovely. So there's fears all over, and people just trying to keep up with what's happening and having an idea of what's going on. So without further ado, the situation report as at Monday 30th August at 11:30 p.m. states that within the last 48 hours, note guys, this is the last 48 hours. Again, we could expect this on Monday because these are the new cases from Saturday and Sunday, and the labs seem to not be open on Sundays right now. So new cases, new confirmed cases in the last 48 hours, the number is at 38, and that now brings the number of total cases that we've had here in the Federation to 1,091. Yeah, we have all these arbitrary numbers, right? When we hit the 1,000, it was like, wow, but it ain't stopping there, I could tell you that. Now that brings the total active cases that we have in the country to 465. Because of that 1,091, we've already had 623 recoveries, and unfortunately, we've had 3 deaths that have been attributed to the COVID-19 virus here in the Federation. The number of cases in St. Kitts is at 948, and in Nevis, the number continues to rise as well, and it now stands at 143. Now, I've been saying for the last few days on the show that I believe I am in the process of transition, right? I believe I am beginning to change my perspective on the whole COVID-19 situation and the responses and what we can expect, and what's possible within the realms of this new reality. Seems as though the horse has left the stable and ain't getting it back in. It's a wild stallion. And that being said, and it's not that I don't think that it could have been put back in the stable. I don't believe that any one government, any one country, any one region even could have done what was necessary to stop it. Once it got to a certain point, a certain number of cases spread. Once it got out of China, it was kind of just like, can we really contain this thing? I think it was important for us to do so whilst we learned about the disease, whilst we figured out its effects, whilst we figured out its transmissibility, while we figured out appropriate medical responses, and how we figured out how to protect ourselves from it initially. I think we've gotten to the point now where it seems as though all of us at some point have an overwhelming possibility of either contracting the disease or having it get so close that we have to at least quarantine. And I'm talking within the next few months. Who knows if that's the case? I don't know, but it's really starting to feel like we people say, can I live with it? I mean, and that's one way of saying it. I do think it's a gross oversimplification, but it kind of touches on what's probably gonna be necessary now, right? So I keep wondering if that is the case, if that's where we're at. If that's where we're at, then how does that look? Like, what does that look like? Does it look like a place where we continually wear masks, sanitize, line up to go everywhere that we're going? Does that come to an end at some point? When do we get to the point where we stop looking out for the situation report and eventually it stop happening? When do we get to the point where businesses no longer have vaccine mandates? Do we get to that point? And I think one thing that is true still, and something that I still believe, even given my ever-evolving perspective, is we really need to figure out what we want the future to look like, right? And work towards that. And I think we get sometimes hung up on these micro achievements. When I say micro achievements, this is something that is not specific to even like governments or countries or organizations. I think even in our own lives, we get so caught up in the micro achievements that we forget the overall goals. I used to live in Florida, and there was this saying that Floridians, and I heard it in the swamps. I used to go and hang out with these Creole people in the swamps where you could only get to the houses on these fan boats. Don't ask me what I was doing there, and just be thankful that I'm here with us today. But I remember hearing this saying, you're so busy fighting the alligators, you forgot you were trying to drain the swamp. And I thought that was so profound. You're so busy fighting the alligators, you forgot you were trying to drain the swamp. Because the overall goal might be to drain the swamp, yes, and the alligators in the water. And they They're in there. You can't avoid it. So at some point, and Jade just log on and decided to knock me off the screen. So I put myself back. So at some point, you're gonna have to deal with the alligators. Morning, Widdy. At some point, you're gonna have to deal with the alligators. But the thing is, at the point when you're dealing with the alligators, all you're studying about is the alligator. You ain't studying about the fact that this isn't really the goal here. But this thing takes up so much of my attention that it's almost like the overall goal gets no attention at this point. Yes, Witty, I'm here alone today. The other two have abandoned me. But I'm glad that you're here. So sometimes it feels like that's what's happening. Like we're getting caught up in the micro achievements and I may be losing sight of exactly what it is that we're trying to build. Now, is it that we're going to get to a place where we start our attitudes towards corona and thing resembles our present attitudes towards the flu, towards even like, let's say, like a chicken pox, or perhaps even like non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, etc. I mean, we don't really send out situation reports monthly about how many people would have been fighting or hospitalized because of these other diseases. And then what does it take for us to get there as a society? I think it's going to be interesting, the developments that happen over the next few months, because I am obviously seeing a change in the perspective of most people. Like, we're at a place now where we're at almost 500 cases active. And just so I'm not... Yep, we're at 465 active. Not 465 total. At one point, that 465 total would have been concerning. At this point, we have 465 active and people going about their day like normal. So... okay. Yeah, I just hearing from our friend Gwen right now. And I'm being told that Kevon... Oh, hold on, guys. It seems as though Kevon wanted to join me. So... hold on there, guys. Let me see if he wants to join now. Yeah, so... it's going to be interesting to see how this develops over the next couple of months and how we, as a society, kind of change our views, perspectives, and whatever. I'm interested to know what you guys think we should focus on in terms of a response to, what's happening, right? Because I'm getting to the point where I feel like the main thing should be hospitalizations. Like, if we have a threshold based on our resources, like a max threshold of what we're able to deal with, then figuring out exactly, and this is for people who are way smarter than me, but figuring out exactly at what point does the system itself become so taxed that we are going to have to change our approach, right? At what point we're gonna have to change our approach, and that might be sooner rather than later. Who knows? But yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see exactly what happens. And I'm curious. I'm curious for you guys who are listening, you guys who are watching, to give me your views on that. Like, what is it that we should be paying attention to now as our approach to the future changes and how society is going to function. I think if we continue to focus on vaccinations, then of course we're going to have responses that center around vaccinations. We're going to have vaccine mandates. We're going to have places that unvaccinated people can't go. We're going to have event. And here's Jade again, literally just switching me up while I'm on the screen. Okay. Big up yourself, Jade. But yeah, so if we focus on vaccinations as a way forward, then of course the protocols, the stuff, all of that is going to dictate what policies are put in place. Okay, that is one option. But again, perhaps if we focus on creating a healthier society, put us in a position where we it's just me, Jetty. Put us in a position where we are able to function amongst each other, then or with each other, then perhaps the policies would reflect such. But we have somebody trying to join me on here right now. Morning, caller, live on LNT. What's up?
Hi, good morning, man. Everything good?
Morning, everything is good.
You're the Lone Ranger today, man.
Yeah, man, just here chilling by myself. You know it is.
But it's okay, no worry. If you can't enjoy yourself, I don't think you'll know how to enjoy anyone else, so okay. Sometimes it's good to be alone.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Having said that, one of the things that really puzzles me, though, is that there are some people are losing their generating income based on the fact because they, for some reason or another, are not able. They can't, they're not willing to take the vaccine, be terminated, as they have been working for a company like 20-something years. I mean, 20-something years, that's a long time, you know. And you go home with just your notice and holiday pay. That's a hard task. But the thing is that one of the things that puzzles me with these companies is that you don't want to keep in your employment those people who have worked with you for so many years because they refuse to take the shot or they cannot take the shot. But yet you're still reaching out to do business with those people who do not take the shot. So what is it that you are saying? What is it that you want? You want to have it, which way you want to go? You have to deal with the people who refuse to take the shot because you need their money. If not, without their expenditure, your business is going to go down the hill as it looks like it's going. So you refuse them. But you refuse them, but you take those who work with you for so many years, unless you want to find a way to downsize. If you want to find a way to downsize, make their position redundant. Let them go home with a package. Don't throw them out on the street. Sometimes I wonder how some people sleep at night. They really put their head on the pillow and sleep? Can they think about people with their children that they have to give them something to eat, send them to school? How they live? How these people live?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even though they take the vaccine, they can get the virus. The virus, sometimes it might not be the virus that kill you, but something else will.
Well, let me ask you a question, Carlo. Let me ask you a question based on what you're saying. Because I think we both agree, and I think a lot of people would not like to see people, losing their means of income and the means to support themselves based on the choice whether to vaccinate or not vaccinate. I think a lot of us could agree on that. But again, I think you kind of have to look at the business position. That being said, what I'm asking is, when a person is exposed to someone who has had contact with somebody who is a confirmed case, right? There's protocol that happens. That is not stipulated by the business per se, but by the health department, right? If you are unvaccinated, you're supposed to quarantine, get a test, and then whether or not you're positive or not, you then quarantine for 2 weeks.
Just
If
to
you are,
check something with something.
yeah, but if you're vaccinated though, I think once you get your negative result, you're free to resume work. So things like I think things like that. I think things like that is something that a lot of the employers are looking at in regards to them being able to survive and move forward. When you have multiple people, let's say even in a department, that if one person or somebody in the department gets it, if the other people in that department are unvaccinated, then that department has to close down for 2 weeks, as opposed to perhaps a day or two while the persons wait on their results. So I think these are the kind of things that are being considered by the employers. Do you think perhaps if some of those policies change, the employers might look at the situation a bit differently?
In a sense, I'm not sure that they're willing to. I'm not sure that they can afford to. If you ever get a chance to sit in the chair of management, you probably will have a different view by looking at the performance of the company. And if you notice that most companies organize in a systematic way, whereas the less productive person probably will be the last person to be employed, and that will be the first person to go if you are downsizing. But most companies don't look at it in the positive way, because the small person who you're trying to get rid of, his income is so small, it does not really much affect the organization. Most of the company are top heavy. They're like Fat Albert. They're heavy and they're small underneath. And so what happened is, because they're carrying such a big load, the executives are so heavily paid that the company continue to swim, to sink. And so if you have good leadership, good management, and people who will be able to perform at a certain level and generate a certain income, then your company can sustain flotation.
Yeah, I think what's being missed here, though, based on what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying, is that in order for you to produce and be productive in your position, you have to be at work. I think one of the situations that the situation, that's where I brought up the situation I just did specifically, because in that situation you have a lot of people who are not able to come into work because of their vaccination status.
Yeah, but if you
and that is not something that's stipulated by the business itself.
But if you notice, most companies now, lots of people are executive from office are functioning remotely. Right now, central banks still having people functioning remotely outside of office, and they're working, they're producing. The production is still up to the level of which they expected. They're carrying out their task. They're working on the project that was assigned to them. So it's not that they're not showing up in the office every day, but they are producing.
Yeah, and they have but bear in mind that, again, the example that you brought up, which is the ECCB, to my knowledge, does not have a vaccine mandate. And also, I think they would have made statements saying that they do not intend to have a vaccine mandate. So, for instance, that it might be feasible for a company like that to make those statements because of the nature of the business and the nature of what happens there. Perhaps it's able to continually carry out its mandate even remotely. Yeah, but you do understand that there's some companies that just is not feasible.
At the same time, following the protocol appear to be one of the most effective, because it's your nasal, it's your inhaling and so on, and your lung system that's apparatus. And so once people have a tendency to wear the mask and sanitize their hand, and I hope that we maintain that standard. Most people will, some people just don't care. But at the same time, if you notice, when was the last time you hear somebody sneeze because they had a flu? Flu is normally catching, and flu, and that to me is something similar. And so to me, if people in those workplaces will follow the protocols, I think that those people within the work area will not have a problem. But don't use it as an excuse to get rid of people, because people need to have a generating income for their family, as you do. All of us need to have an income. But there's no free lunch.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and that's how I feel about the whole thing. I think that because we have to learn to live with them. My neighbor might not take the shot. I might take it. Do I push away my neighbor from me, or do my neighbor push me away from them?
I got you.
We have to find some way to work together.
Yeah.
And to get our system going. They have a thing right now which is the cricket, and they say only those who vaccine can come. But to me, come on, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense because we've been following the protocol for years and we not been having any problem. So if you follow the protocol and you put on your mask, your saliva cannot get to me if you have on a mask. What are you going to do? Rub up on me and kiss me up and then you're going to transfer to me? No, it transfers by saliva, spitting, and fluid and so on. But so if I have on a mask and I sanitize my hands, there's no way that you'll be able to catch it easy unless you drink it from the same cup that I drink from. Unless I kiss you or you kiss somebody. It's how this is transmitted. So if you have an office setting and you put the space apart and everybody is going to everybody wearing the mask, even those who are vaccinated have to wear a mask. Because I am, and I am make sure I wear a mask. And everybody that I tend to, I make sure that they come to my business area. I spread their hands and make sure that they wear a mask. But so at the same time, I protect them and I protect me. So to me, we can go down that line. We don't have to fire people to say that they did not take the vaccine. That to me, that don't go.
Yeah,
it's not
I understand.
HIV.
I understand.
It's not like HIV that you have sex with somebody and they catch the disease. It is something that is airborne. So if you protect yourself, follow the protocols, I think we will come out ahead.
I understand.
Nobody have to take it.
I understand.
But don't use the COVID to take advantage of people who you really want to get rid of long time and who you don't like. Don't do it.
Well, I don't know if they could have if there's a direct correlation between people who want to fire and people who choose to not get vaccinated. But
yes, it look like it look like that's what you want to do. You want to get rid of them long time. So,
I don't know if there's a correlation there, but I mean perhaps. But we're gonna have to move on. We actually have our friends here for the next segment.
But because you're alone, maybe that's why. Anyway.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
All
right, man. Thank you. But guys, yes, we're gonna have to figure out exactly what the future looks like, and I suspect that we're at a place now where we're going to see some changes in the perspectives of people. We've already been seeing it with 400 and like almost 500 cases, and we're still kind of just going about how it is. So there's definitely a change there. But we actually have our friends from the Solid Waste Management Corporation here with us, and we're going to take a short break and come right back with Talking Trash. So don't go anywhere. Stay locked. Stay tuned right here to WINNMedia SKN. We'll be right back, guys.
If you say you love your little dear country, try to do something positively. Be a watchdog for the environment. Don't leave everything to the government. We dump our garbage anywhere, lit on the streets everywhere. Our behavior is telling me that we really don't care. Take some pride in your country. Volunteer to clean where it's dirty. Tourism development needs a healthy environment. Whenever we litter, we threaten our survival. So those who engage in it should be treated like criminals. So don't be afraid at all if they call you an informer. Report those who endanger our future. So if you really love this blessed land, this situation demands attention. Think about the future generation. Do what we can to preserve this island. justice take its course. If you are a proud citizen, you have the right, you have a reason to save this land from destruction. You have an obligation to become involved in anything which affects this nation.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our NOSI program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Good morning, welcome back to Island TV and WINNMedia SKN, and we're here with our friends for Talking Trash. And I see we have three lovely ladies in the studio with me today, so I'm not alone anymore, guys. Good morning, how are you ladies doing?
Good morning, we're doing good.
Awesome. And Norma, you know, you've been coming here for the last couple of weeks and hanging out with us in the morning, on Tuesday mornings. It's been a real pleasure. I see you have some friends along with you today.
Yes.
Could you introduce them, have them introduce themselves?
We'll have them introduce themselves shortly.
I like that.
Yes. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another segment of Talking Trash right here on WINNFM 98.9. Talking Trash comes your way every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 a.m. I'm your presenter, Nama, and in today's segment, we'll be discussing derelict vehicle removal and a nationwide cleanup of white goods and household waste. Joining me this morning are two of my esteemed colleagues, and I will allow them now to introduce themselves.
Hi, good morning. My name is Taisha Hanley, Collections Officer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ivanka James, Little Warden.
Okay, so there you have it. We have Taisha and Ivanka with me this morning, and we have some exciting news. However, I need to address the fact that there has been a public outcry for some time now in relation to the vast number of derelict vehicles and white goods throughout the country, creating not only a health hazard, but an eyesore. But before I get into that, please allow me to say, as some of you may be aware, and for those of you who aren't, a large percentage of our revenue at Solid Waste is generated from per capita head count from cruise ships, cruise ship passengers, as well as airline passengers. Now, truth be told, since the pandemic began in March 2020, we have not received any substantial revenue from cruise ship passengers and very little from airline passengers.
Ooh.
Despite these challenges, though, the corporation has continued to collect household waste for free of cost and maintained integrity in our scheduled pickups.
And of course, Nama, we have been able, since we've been through the pandemic, the guys at Solid Waste have been able to be on time on the pickup days.
Yes.
We have been able to go out and go beyond what we have been doing for the last 2 years during the
Yes.
pandemic.
Yeah, we can definitely say it's almost been 2
2
years.
years.
And 2 years without revenue coming in. However, we are ensuring, and our staff is there to ensure that your waste, your municipal waste, is picked up in a timely manner every week. So we just ask for your continued patience and your continued support, as we can all see this is not quote unquote ending anytime soon. It's getting a bit better. We're heading, I believe, in the right direction. As a human race, we will find a way to overcome this.
Of course we will.
But as it is now, you can see cruise ships aren't really here, and flights are few and far in between. Not like the vast.
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
prior. Yeah.
Yes. So we've cleared that, and basically we have, as I said before, some very exciting news. Well, it's exciting for me because it's an initiative we undertook, a similar initiative we undertook in 2018, where we did a nationwide cleanup. Tayasha, you
was
were
a
there.
part of it,
Yes.
and then after that, we had people calling in saying, "Man, we need this to come back," and we try our best, and we have decided, okay, this is something we need to do, because and going and looking around the country, you can see a lot of derelict vehicles, white goods, and we decide, okay, this is something that we need to bring back, of course.
Yes. So we've been mentioning the word derelict vehicles and white goods, and although some individuals may know what we're referring to, especially our regular listeners, for some of you, you may not know what we're referring to, and those who do, it's just a little refresher. So we're just going to define derelict vehicles as is stated in the Act, and also give you some examples of what white goods entail.
Okay, good morning again. Little one, James here. What are the definitions of a derelict vehicle? It means a motor vehicle that is abandoned or discarded, is stored or kept in a public place in such a dilapidated condition that it cannot safely be used for the purpose or transportation, or in its location detracts from the quality of the amenities enjoyed by a person who owns property in or near where the vehicle is located, constitutes a nuisance in law or in otherwise a hazard to human health or the environment.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the definition of a derelict vehicle.
And we have the white goods that we will be collecting is refrigerator, stoves, washing machine, toilets, Miami shutters, which we call it louvers, the white louvers, AC, radios, etc., etc.
So all of those things, you know, Christmas is coming up, and this project is running as of tomorrow, so September, and we're running it straight through to mid-December. So you have time to ensure that you bring out, you clean up, start cleaning up early, and bring out those goods so that we can take them away, because once we're gone from your community, we are gone. So ensure that you know where we're starting. Well, the cleanup aspect of it, we're starting that in October. However, the derelict vehicle removals begins tomorrow. That's in September, so that's September 1st. And so our little wardens will be out there, and spearheading this project is Little Warden James, so she can tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so with the derelict vehicle, what the little ones come around to do, we're going to put on a notice on the vehicle. If we know the owner name, we write the owner name, and we give you 7 days. 7 days to come and identify the vehicles or what you wanted to do with it. If 7 days and no one come to identify that vehicle is going to the landfill. If we don't know who it belongs to, we write on to whom it may be concerned. So we give you 7 days. So if you want to part or anything off it, we give you 7 days to remove the vehicle from where it is.
So, and Banco, they will be able to call to the office and say if they have anything, if they cannot contact you, they can always call the office?
Yeah, call Solid Waste.
Definitely.
How does one go about reporting vehicles in an area that you think is derelict? Is there a process by which you guys accept reports?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can call the collections department at Solid Waste or just call the office 465-9507 and you report it. You give us the location and we will go and we will check it out and see if a removal order has already been placed or if we need to do so at that time.
Yeah, and some people, when we go to some people, oh, it's on our land, it's in our yard and them stuff. But just to let the public know that we have the right to go on people's property to make them clean up and remove whatever
And
out
remember-
of their property. We just show our ID card and we allowed to go on the property.
And remember, according to the definition